Hello, welcome back to the Undrafted and Unqualified Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Anthony. It's just me again this week. Got some good stuff to talk about. Do the Week 11 recap as usual. Busy week. I'll get into it. It'll be a little shorter. The usual. But before we get into that, hope y'all won your weeks. Hope y'all had a good week. I know this week was a little weird. A lot of low scores I saw across the board. But yeah, there were some high scores as well for individual players, and it's good to see. So we'll get into all that. First, let me pull this up real quick, and then I will hop right into it. So first things first, let's do the news as usual. Then we'll get into the games. So starting with the news. We'll do the injuries as always. Josh Jacobs goes down, knee injury. It's looking like he might avoid IR, but I do anticipate him missing at least 1 week. I would probably guess 2 to 3. In that case, you will definitely want to get Emmanuel Wilson. He's a short-term option, but he got the bulk of the carries, so he'll be a good option moving forward. Drake London got hurt, out at least a week. It's not great. I mean, Mooney gets a bump, Kyle Pitts gets a bump. Um, that being said, Penix also got hurt, so Kirk Cousins is going to be running the offense. It's likely that Penix's season is over, which is not good for the offense as a whole. Not great for Bijan. So yeah, it's not good for Falcons owners, for London owners, Bijan owners. But Pitts might get a bump. So I guess that's the light and all of that. Jaylen Warren got hurt. It's an ankle. It looks like an ankle sprain. He said he could have come back in the game. I kind of anticipate him missing a week, honestly. With an ankle sprain, it's tough to really come back within a week. It was a lateral sprain on the outside, so if you watched it, it looked like he could miss some time. So I think he's going to be out a week, which means it'll be Kenny Gainwell. He got a huge bump when he took over for Warren, and I think he'll do the same this week. J.K. Dobbins officially got put on season-ending IR, so it's a bump for R.J. Harvey. Yes, it was not a great game, but yes, we knew it was a hard defense to play against. I think he's going to be fine. It looked like he got the bulk of the work anyways, so I think he'll be the guy to lean on. Not the prettiest schedule, but hey, when you're getting the work anyways, sometimes it can outdo that. He's a receiving work as well, so yeah, I think I think Harvey's going to be just fine if I'm being honest with you. They get the bye week, and then we'll go from there. Kamani Vidal got hurt, went down early in the second quarter, did not come back. So they get the bye week at a time they need it. But yeah, he did not come back. Maybe Hampton's back after the bye week. We're not sure yet. If he were to go down, if both of them were to be out, I think you're looking at maybe Jarrett Patterson, honestly, which is kind of weird. I don't know if I'd love that, but it's a name at least to keep an eye on because we don't know the extent of Vidal's injury yet. We don't know when Hampton's coming back. Hopefully, at least one of them is fine for week 13, but they do go on a bye at the time they need it. And hopefully, Vidal will be fine if Hampton's not back. But Patterson's probably the guy if neither of them are good to go. Calvin Ridley, season-ending injury. Other receivers got hurt on the team too. Yeah, not great. Not great at all. Yeah, for this offense, for everything. I mean, Ridley, it was a rough season already. So, yeah, not much to take away fantasy-wise there. Aaron Rodgers, I think it was a wrist injury, and he doesn't need surgery or anything, and he's actually going to push to play. I think we're going to see Mason Rudolph at least 1 week, if I had to guess. But, knowing Rodgers, he might push through it. He might play anyways this week. So just keep an eye on it. I don't think there's a major downgrade to anybody if Rudolph is to start. I think Rudolph could be just okay. So yeah, just keep an eye on it. And Dylan Gabriel got hurt, and then Shador Sanders came in. He did not look good. I anticipate he'll get practice reps with the first team this week. So that's a good sign. He'll actually get reps with the first team before just getting thrown into the field. But he did not look good, and it's a major downgrade for the offense as a whole. Not that Dylan Gabriel was great anyways, but yeah, hopefully Shador can turn it around and maybe he can actually do better than, this past weekend. Outside of injuries, Jamar Chase is suspended for 1 game for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. So he'll be out this week against the Patriots. Tough matchup anyways. T. Higgins, honestly, I kind of want to downgrade him now because he's going to be shadowed by Christian Gonzalez. Downgrade Joe Flacco. Chase Brown, I think, is going to get some good work. But yeah, this is not great news for the Bengals offense. So I would just, temper some expectations. T's still going to get all the targets. I think you still have to play T this week. You have to. But yeah, maybe just temper expectations a little bit because the shadow matchup isn't as good. Yoshivas maybe is worth something if you're really desperate. He could be okay. I think the Bengals are going to have to keep up with the Patriots. So yeah, I think they're going to have to throw quite a bit. Keon Coleman was a healthy scratch. Um, I think it was disciplinary. And we saw a bunch of random guys get on the field. Ty Shavers, I don't know who that is, but he got on the field. He got a touchdown. So the Bills, I mean, Josh Allen looked incredible. It didn't matter. It's just, that's not good for him. For Keon the rest of the season. Tyrod Taylor is the new starter for the Jets. They are benching Fields officially, so keep an eye on that. I think Tyrod might be an upgrade for the offense as a whole. No Garrett Wilson still, but Mason Taylor could see a bump. Maybe Breece Hall out of the backfield. So keep an eye there. Tyrod is supposed to start moving forward. With that said, let's hop into the games. So we'll start Thursday night football. Thursday night was the Patriots versus the Jets. Fields was okay fantasy wise. Breece Hall did not have a good day. The Patriots' run defense is just really, really good. They've been really good all year. Milton Williams went down, and we actually saw a little bit of an improvement for Breece Hall. So Milton Williams, that's bad news for the Patriots run defense. But um, yeah, John Mechie got in the end zone. Really nothing to take away here from the Jets, honestly. If we go over to the Patriots, Drake May looked great again. Travion Henderson, have a day. He had 19 carries, 2 touchdowns. He had 5 receptions for a touchdown on 5 targets. So he just got everything and he looked great. So maybe we'll see this moving forward. I anticipate Ramondre comes back this week. I also anticipate they use him. So I'm thinking a little bit of a split, but after that usage, it's hard for it not to be at least 60-40 in Travion's favor. Um, Hopefully that's the case. He was awesome for fantasy. Stephon Diggs had a great day too, 9 for 105 on 11 targets. He looks like a wide receiver two rest of the season, top 24 guy. He's currently the wide receiver 14 on the year. Granted, they haven't had their bye week yet, but that's awesome to see. Matt Collins did okay. He had another 10 points. So it seems like there's two options here in this receiving game every week. We kind of the thing with the Patriots is it's roulette. I think Diggs you're the most confident in. Looks like it's Hollins right now too. It's been Booty in the past, but he's been injured the last 2 games. Hunter Henry's getting about 7 points ish each week. He had 8 this week, and it's okay. It's okay for a tight end if you're really desperate, but. Yeah, it looks like Diggs is the guy moving forward, but this Patriots offense is churning, man, and it's a lot of fun to see. But let's move on to the next game. This was the Madrid game of the week. Very boring. I don't know why every international game is terrible, but hey, here we are. Commanders lose to the Dolphins in overtime. Mariota continues to do it for fantasy. He had about 15 points on the week. Debo, great game, 7 for 74 and a touchdown. You like to see that without Terry. They have a very nice schedule moving forward too, playoff schedule specifically. So they go on bye this week. So, maybe Terry can get healthy, but yeah, you like to see that. Ertz, again, it feels like Hunter Henry, that floor about 7 to 8 points. He had 8 this week. There's not a lot of options outside of that. As for the running backs, it really looks like it's Chris Rodriguez, the man in the backfield now. He had the bulk of the carries, 15 for 79. He had the bulk of the snaps. Bill Krosky got nine carries, but Rodriguez, I think that's the guy you want in this backfield moving forward. So we'll talk about that a little more later, but it did look like he took over. So him, Debo's going to be nice down the stretch. Hopefully Terry's healthy down the stretch too. But yeah, Mariota's going to be able to get it done for them. As for the Dolphins, it was an okay day from Tua. Jalen Waddle's down day. I wouldn't worry too much. Devon Achane, he got it done as always. 21 for 120, 5 for 45 through the air. Ollie Gordon vultured a touchdown. So yeah, I mean, A-Chan's going to get it done every game anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And Waddle, don't worry about Waddle. This is the same story with the Dolphins every week, so we'll move on here. Steelers beat down on the Bengals. I started Flacco. I know he was Vinny's start of the week, and he did not perform. Kind of sucks to see. Jamar Chase, bust of a game. T. Higgins got in the end zone, so it was a good week for him. Chase Brown, 6 catches on 8 targets. Also 18 carries for 99 yards. He's been awesome. Since Flacco's been there, he's been really good. Very, very strong start every week. RB2, maybe even our RB1, but yeah, this Bengals they fell flat a little bit, but T was okay. T was okay, and Chase Brown was awesome. As for your Steelers, right? Rodgers got hurt. Mason Rudolph came in. Jalen Warren went down with the injury too. Gainwell got all the work. He also had 7 receptions, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's going to be awesome regardless. DK Metcalf, 5 for 49, 8 targets. Not a great game. And it's looking like he really is getting to that point. He's touchdown dependent. We hinted at it last week. I think Vinny said that actually, that he's looking touchdown dependent, and it seems to be the case, especially in this offense. So we'll see if especially if Rodgers isn't there. I don't know if that's good news for DK Metcalf at all. So yeah, just keep an eye on those injuries there in this offense. Gainwell's going to be awesome if he takes over for Warren if Warren misses time. So he's startable if Warren is to miss a week or two. Moving forward, Jaguars, Chargers. The Chargers, this is a game where it's like, oh, we might put them on fraud watch. The Chargers have been awesome. Herbert looked terrible. He threw for 81 yards in this game. I did not realize it was that bad, but it was that bad. Vidal had 5 carries for 13 yards, and that was it. Wow, that's bad. Granted, he went down early, and then game script kind of took away from them needing to run the ball anyways. But even the receivers, Keenan Allen led the way, 4 for 53. But Gadsden had 6 points, McConkey 4 points, Quinton Johnston had a goose again. This is not good. I think this is a perfect time for the bye week, as I mentioned earlier. Honestly, I think you can just scratch this game and move forward with high hopes. They've been a really good offense all season long. So I think you can scratch it. The Jags might be better than we think, too. Trevor Lawrence was okay. Tootin actually had 15 carries. He was out carrying ETN early on in the game. ETN ended up having 19 of his own with 2 touchdowns, but Tootin had a touchdown himself early on. So I think we could see a role for Tootin moving forward. Seems like they want to go in that direction of splitting it a little more. So that is something to keep an eye on. I think we may see that. And yeah, Tootin should be owned in every league right about now. Jacoby Myers led the way through the air with 5 for 64. Parker Washington almost feels like he's getting phased out a little bit. We might even have BTJ back, which I think would knock Parker Washington down even more because I think it would be BTJ and Jacoby Myers. So if he's back this week, Parker Washington, you could consider dropping. I think Jacoby Myers needs to be owned everywhere right now, and there's a chance for a boom from him at some point. We haven't seen it yet, 2 weeks in with the team, but he's still getting looks, which is always a good sign. Yeah, the Jaguars team, surprisingly good. Moving on, probably the game of the week. Bills, Buccaneers, huge, huge game. They scored over 70 points in total. Baker was solid. Sean Tucker throughout the backfield led the way, 19 carries, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 receptions for 34 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, you love to see that. Rashad White only had 10 for 51 on carries and then only 2 for 11 through the air. Looking at this even more, I know the snaps wise, Rashad White was on the field more, but looking at this, I don't see any reason to hold on to Rashad White at this point. I know he has a receiving floor, but with only 2 catches this week on 3 targets, and Tucker had 2 catches on 2 targets, and he had that touchdown too. It's like Rashad White there, he's been lowering in snaps week to week. Like if I'm to go pull this up right here, let me go find it for you. But if I'm to go pull up Rashad White, his snap count, it's been low the last few weeks. And he hasn't done much. And Sean Tucker, on the other hand, if I pull Tucker up here, 1 second. Nope, not Tucker Kraft. Sean Tucker. He has gone up in snaps each week from the th 30s. He went to 44% this week, and they gave him a lot of work, and he looked awesome. So I I think if you need a handcuff, I mean Bucky may be back this week, but if you need a handcuff, I think Sean Tucker's the one you want to own. I don't know if Rashad White is necessarily worth owning anymore. So that might actually be a move I try and go make in my league with Bucky Irving and with Rashad White there. So yeah, that's something to consider. Sterling Shepard led the way in receiving, which is crazy. I mean, Egbuka had 5 for 40 on 9 targets. It wasn't a great day though, and it's a little concerning. It's a little concerning at this point. The schedule gets very difficult down the stretch. He still is the one there. I anticipate him being the one the rest of the season, but it's a little concerning. So, you know, drop Egbuka a little bit to probably high end wide receiver two versus, that top 10 guy rest of season. That's probably where I'd go with it. I don't think I'd be willing to go just sell him away for cheap, but yeah, it hasn't been great. The Bills, yeah, Josh Allen, 6 touchdowns. He's unbelievable. 40 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. He had three through the air, 317 passing yards. James Cook got one through the air. He also had 16 carries. He's still getting all the work. Tyrell Shavers had 4 for 90 and a touchdown. Ty Johnson had one through the air. They're just spreading this ball around. So there's not a lot to like from receivers rather. Shakir, who's the guy we like the most, is he went 1 for -3 in this game on 3 targets. In a game that was a blowout, which is crazy, or not a blowout, but a shootout. Um, so yeah, it's interesting that Ty Shavers kind of took an uptick and he looked good. So maybe keep an eye on him if he has another good week. But I wouldn't do anything about it right now. I would just keep rocking Josh Allen, keep rocking James Cook. Next game of the week. Bears beat the Vikings. Caleb, he was all right. Receiving wise, a Dunze 2 for 41. You don't like that. Loveland went 3 for 40, but when Komet is there, it's just not as good for him. Komet went 5 for 45. So Luther Burden was on the field 3 for 27. So Luther Burden might be worth picking up at this point. But yeah, the passing game just wasn't great this week. DeAndre Swift got a ton, 21 for 90 on the ground. Monongai got in the end zone again. Kind of feels like almost like a Zach Charbonnet at this point. But yeah, he was inefficient, but he got in the end zone. So, keep that in mind moving forward. But I think both of those guys should be owned on rosters. As for the Vikings, JJ McCarthy's bad. He's bad. It's not been pretty, and it's hurting the offense. Justin Jefferson went 5 for 61. He had 9 targets, but it's not turning into anything. The touchdowns aren't there. Jordan Addison got in the end zone though, 2 for 20 and a touchdown, 7 targets, but they're just not getting to him. Aaron Jones is still getting all the work, 16 for 70, 3 catches on 6 targets. Um, Jordan Mason, 6 for 45. He did have a nice touchdown, 16-yarder. He broke the plane and, he was gone. He just caught an edge and he was gone, but he's borderline droppable at this point. He had, I think, like 16% of snaps, maybe 20, but that's that's not good. Aaron Jones is the guy. He is being utilized as the guy. I would probably yeah, Mason, you can't, at the very least, just store him on that bench. I mean, trade him if you can somehow. I might be able to ship him off in one of my leagues in a package deal, but kind of clearing the roster space is my goal. But yeah, it really is Aaron Jones moving forward, and I am worried about this team with McCarthy. It hasn't been good. I am worried about Jefferson. I'm worried about Hawkinson. I'm worried about Addison. Targets are there, they're just not getting to them, and that's a big problem. As for the Texans Titans being the next game, Davis Mills has looked pretty good. He's looked pretty good. He's getting the ball to Nico Collins, 9 for 92 and a touchdown. Nico's been awesome. We're gonna get one more week of Nico on Thursday night with Davis Mills. So fire them up. Nico was limited yesterday. I don't know if there's. Let's see. Actually, well, I say that. Let's see if there's any update on him. since starting. No, nothing yet, nothing yet. Yeah, nothing yet. But as long as Nico's good to go, fire him up. Throw him in there as a wide receiver one this week. He's been awesome. Jaden Higgins is even getting some work, 4 for 55. Schultz, 6 for 51. Those three have been really good with Davis Mills. Woody Marks got all the work. It just didn't turn into anything. Don't worry about Woody Marks. I know this was Vinny's start of the week in a good matchup against the Titans, but 18 for 44, it's not really that great. Only one catch on one target. It just didn't turn into work for him, but um, into any scores for him. But the volume, the work was there. Titans, yeah, I mean Pollard outcarried Spears 10-4, but both of them sucked. Spears does the work through the air. He had 5 for 31 through the air. Pollard had 3 for 4. They might even lean on them a little more with Ridley down for the year, but yeah, Van Jefferson actually led the team in targets and scored a touchdown. I actually do keep an eye on that, but there's nothing to like from this Titans offense for fantasy football. Unfortunately, sorry, Titans fans. Panthers get the win against the Falcons in overtime. Bryce Young was unbelievable. 448 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tet McMillan, my sit of the week. I am no longer the Tet whisperer. He cooked me. He cooked me. He went 8 for 130, 2 touchdowns, 12 targets. This was his best week by far this season. He looked unbelievable. Leggett got in the end zone, 4 for 83 and one. Rico had 5 for 55 through the air, 19 carries for 45 yards. Um, this offense against the Falcons, they just move. They move. If Bryce can perform like this, we're in for a lot of good games for Tet, possibly Leggett as well. Rico's awesome too. Falcons, yeah, Penix went down early. Kirk came in. Drake London was still great. 7 for 119 in this game on 9 targets, but again, he's not going to be there for some time. Finally, Bijan's getting in the end zone, 23 for 104 and 2 touchdowns, 4 for 39 through the air. I mean, maybe that's a bright spot with Drake London going down. Maybe Kirk Cousins will check it down to him, but I am bumping him down slightly because I don't think Kirk's going to run the offense well. Algier also, naturally, he got in the end zone too. On 3 carries, he still got one in the end zone. Packers, Giants is the next game. Jordan Love looked okay. He went down for a little bit, and Malik Willis led a touchdown drive. Um, Emmanuel Wilson took over for Josh Jacobs, who got hurt, and he scored. Romeo Dobbs was the leader. Christian Watson, 2 touchdowns, though. Keep an eye on that. You're going to want him. Dobbs is the other guy. It feels like we have consolidated what used to be a very ambiguous receiving core. Tucker Kraft went down, and all the targets seem to be going to Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson. So makes it easier for us as fantasy owners, fantasy managers, but. Yeah, that those are the two you might want on this team. And Emmanuel Wilson, as long as Jacobs is out. For the Giants, we love seeing Jameis. I love it. He's back. The horses are prepared for battle. Um, Devin Singletary, 2 touchdowns, 16 carries for 44 yards. Tyrone Tracy, 19 carries for 88 yards. He also had 4 for 51 through the air. Singletary had a catch as well. This feels a lot like Ken Walker's Zach Charbonnet. Very even split for the most part. Tracy looked way better, but Singletary got in the end zone. Tracy also got all the receiving work, though. Isaiah Hodgins was the leading receiver in this game. Don't worry about that. I think, I mean, Wandale had 9 targets, 4 for 36 on 9 targets. He's still the guy. Theo Johnson, there will be better weeks ahead. He's had a great rapport with Dart, who may come back this week. We shall see. Going to the next game, Rams beat the Seahawks by 2. Darnold was bad this game. 4 picks, no touchdowns. It was not a good game for him. JSN still, though, 9 for 105 on 12 targets. He's unbelievable. AJ Barner, 10 catches for 70 yards on 11 targets. I think we need to keep an eye on him. Cup and Shaheed got decent targets, 7 for Cup, 5 for Shaheed. No production out of it. So is what it is. I don't know what to do with the two of them, if I'm being honest. I don't think I'd really necessarily want either of them because they are a run first offense, and everything in the air seems to go through JSN and Barner in this game. Ken Walker, though, finally broke out and had a big day. He was my sit of the week in a tough matchup. He looked good, 16 for 67 and a touchdown. Also had 3 for 44 through the air. It was like 20 fantasy points. It's an awesome day. Charbonnet did about nothing because he didn't get in the end zone. He's very touchdown dependent. But yeah, great day for Walker. Maybe we'll see more of it. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Matthew Stafford looked okay. It wasn't a very good day for him. Puka went 7 for 75. He's inevitable. The nice Devontae Adams line, 1 for 1 yard for 1 touchdown on 8 targets. So the volume was there, it just didn't turn into much. Kyron got in the end zone. Corum got 8 carries to Kyron's 12. Again, I think Kyron is the dude by a long shot, so I would just not worry about Kyron. Um, this was just an interesting game for this offense. Feels like there wasn't a lot of volume. 28 pass attempts, only 15 completions for Stafford, 20 total carries for the two running backs. So maybe the Seahawks just dominated with the ball. That may be it. But that offense is a workhorse. So don't, if you have a piece of that, you're loving it. On to the next game, we have the 49ers blowing out the Cardinals. Brock Purdy is back, 3 touchdowns. It was a good day for him for fantasy. McCaffrey had 2 touchdowns on the ground, 13 for 81 and 2. He also had one through the air, 5 for 40 and 1 on 6 targets. And this dude, Brock Purdy, loves George Kittle, 6 for 67 and 2 touchdowns. Huge day for him. Fire Kittle up. I think tight end 2 rest of the season. I'll take him there over Bowers. McBride's the 1. Kittle's the 2, in my opinion. Yeah, Kittle with Purdy is something else. They do have their bye in a couple weeks, but you love to see it. Juwan Jennings went 4 for 54 on 6 targets. Pearsall had 1 catch, no yards, 3 targets. Be patient with Pearsall. Watch how that split unfolds over time with Pearsall and Jennings. I will say that. But yeah, McCaffrey, Kittle, it's awesome. And Purdy. Purdy's been great for fantasy too. In his 3 starts this year, 17 points, 19 points. So he's been good. Keep an eye there. For the Cardinals, Jacoby Brissett breaks the NFL record all time of completions in a game with 47. He threw 57 attempts. That's a really good completion percentage, if we're being real. 452 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Um, yeah, with Brissett, this offense has been good. This defense is not. They're not running the ball much either. Bam Knight got in the end zone, but only had 5 carries. DeMarcado had 5 carries. But the volume is through the air. Michael Wilson had 18 targets, went 15 for 185. That's 33 points with no touchdowns. This dude, if Marv's out a week again, like first of all, Marv's gonna be awesome to have. That's one thing. But two, like if Marv's out again, Michael Wilson, like pick him up and he's startable in the flex. So I would definitely be looking at that a little bit. Trey McBride again, 10 for 115 and a touchdown. He keeps scoring with Brissett. It's awesome to see. He's unbelievable. He scored over 20 points for the last 5 games. He's been really, really good. Greg Dortch got in the end zone too, 6 for 66 and a touchdown. Just a lot of volume through the air. It's when you have that kind of volume, good things happen. Next game, Ravens, Browns. Lamar, it was not a good game. Same goes for all the receivers, except for Mark Andrews, who had a 35-yard rushing touchdown. My sit of the week, he did well. Thank you to that touchdown. Derrick Henry, 18 for 103 and a touchdown against a very good Browns defense, a very good Browns defense. So you like to see that from Derrick Henry. He's been turning around as of late, so good things are to come. As for the Browns, just, yeah, not a good day. Not a good day through the air. Judkins had 17 carries for 59 yards, but there was just nothing there otherwise. So the volume was there, but it didn't turn into anything. Just not a good day for the Browns offense. Judkins should be okay moving forward, but it almost feels as if he's touchdown dependent with how bad this offense is. And he's not getting any work through the air either. So yeah, I think the tight ends are still the guys you want in the receiving game, but yeah, bad week. Hopefully they can do something against the Raiders this upcoming week. We have The last 4 o'clock game is the Chiefs and Broncos. The Broncos beat them. The Chiefs fall to 5-5. I love it. I love it. But yeah, Mahomes was not great. Kareem Hunt literally ran the ball, the only running back to run the ball, 13 for 59 and a touchdown. We may see Pacheco back this week, but Kareem Hunt's been pretty solid in the time that he's been having to fill in. Travis Kelce was awesome, 9 for 91 and a touchdown. Brutal matchup for the receivers. Rice, 6 for 38, 9 targets. I expect much better days ahead. Don't worry about him. Worthy, on the other hand, 3 for 25. Yep, he's the odd man out. So Rice will be okay. I think Kelsey's going to be good too. He's been producing. So yeah, it feels like it's Rice and Kelsey moving forward. As for the Broncos, Bo was okay. He was pretty efficient. He didn't throw a pick, so you like to see that. He didn't fumble either. Um, no touchdowns though. RJ Harvey, 11 carries. He led the team. Jaleel McLaughlin, I know he carried one into the end zone, but Harvey was fine. He also got 3 targets, 3 catches for 20 yards. Troy Franklin, 4 for 84. Sutton, 4 for 59. Each had 8 targets. Pat Bryant, 5 for 82 on 6 targets. It's still Sutton as the number one, but it's becoming increasingly clear that they don't need to run the offense through him anymore like they needed to last year. They have other options now. So, just keep that in mind. It seems like it's a little matchup based now. Chiefs were a brutal matchup, brutal matchup. That's one of Vinny's, I think it was his sit of the week. He hit on that. Sunday night was boring. Goff looked bad. He cannot play in cold weather outside of a dome. Gibbs was not very good either on the ground. Montgomery wasn't good on the ground, but Gibbs got 5 for 107 through the air on 8 targets. Jameson Williams, without Laporta, this guy is startable. He is more than startable. He's like a wide receiver too. Like you should probably start him. He has I think I saw something. He's like the wide receiver, like he's a top 16 wide receiver, I think in 3 of the last 4 weeks, something like that. So yeah, he had a goose in there, but he's been unbelievable. 4 for 88 and a touchdown, 7 targets. Amon Ra, they just couldn't connect. 12 targets, but only 2 for 42 in this game. I wouldn't worry too much. Goff just can't play in the snow. They are going back to a dome this upcoming week. Eagles, Hurts is whatever. He got in the end zone, rushing touchdown as always. Saquon, 26 for 83, 1 catch. AJ Brown, the squeaky wheel, 7 for 49 through the air, 11 targets. He led the team in receiving by a long shot. Devontae Smith did just about nothing, 1 for 8. Goddard did just about nothing, 2 for 24. So I think we're going to see more of that. Sorry about that if you heard that squeak. But yeah, I think we're going to see more of AJ Brown moving forward. And yeah, we'll talk later about that. Yeah, boring game. Going into Monday night, we have the Cowboys beat down on the Raiders. Wow, this Cowboys offense is a lot of fun. Dak looked unbelievable, 4 touchdowns. Pickens, 9 for 144 and a touchdown on 11 targets. CD, 5 for 66 and a touchdown on 7 targets. It looks like we might not have a clear number one right now. I will go ahead and say CD is the one. I firmly believe that. But this game very clearly said, hey, we're going to Pickens more. And they did. And he was unreal. He won me my week, which was awesome. But yeah, Pickens has been awesome. Ferg came back. Got in the end zone. He didn't do a lot, but this offense runs through Pickens and CD, and they're both going to be unbelievable week to week. Javonte, 22 for 93 on the ground. He had 1 catch for no yards. He's not getting in the end zone lately, so it hasn't been translating to a lot of points. But that being said, the volume is there, and you can't anticipate better days ahead. As for the Raiders, Geno stinks. I don't know why they didn't give it to Genti more. He went 6 for 7, but he's been getting so much receiving work, 6 for 27 on 8 targets. That's awesome to see. Bowers 7 for 72 on 12 targets. That's a good day for him. We'll take that. And Trey Tucker, my start of the week, 4 for 47 and a touchdown on 8 targets. It's a solid day. Yeah, I think Bowers and Tucker are the guys you're looking at moving forward. And Genti, hopefully they're just smart. They're smart, and they'll just give him the ball more. That is, yeah, straightforward. All right. That is the recap for the teams. Going into waivers, let's start with the running backs. There's a lot to talk about here. Short term, we talked Emmanuel Wilson. If Josh Jacobs is down, this is the guy I am prioritizing. He looks like he's in for a bulk of carries and just volume alone, he's going to be good. So I like Emmanuel Wilson. Sean Tucker, I think this is the true backup now to Bucky Irving. If Bucky does not come back for week 12, I would go Sean Tucker. Um, Gainwell, Kenny Gainwell, if Jalen Warren is to miss time, he's also a great option. These three are short-term options, but all three are probably playable. They all looked good this past week, so I think all three are in for bigger weeks too. Longer term, Chris Rodriguez, if he takes over, they have a great playoff schedule. So I'd look to pick him up. They're in the bye week. You probably won't have to spend. You probably won't have to do a lot to get him. So I'd look to pick him up. Bashal Tutin as well. I think you need to pick him up. I talked about it earlier. He outcarried ETN early. 15 carries. He got in the end zone. So yeah, Tutin should be owned as well. I think this offense has been moving. So it's time to take a look there. Benson is still not owned in enough leagues. Trey Benson needs to be owned. Please pick him up if he's available. He is coming back at some point. We'll see when. It could be another couple of weeks, but still, you need to own him. It looks like the run game has nothing. So I think Trey Benson's going to take over completely. I think Algier still needs to be owned. He keeps getting in the end zone. Also an elite handcuff. Same with Corum. Corum also got touches. I think Singletary needs to be picked up still. Singletary got a ton of work. He got in the end zone twice. It looked like they wanted to run the ball a lot, which they did. Tajay Spears, he's getting receiving work. I think a lot of that could drop off from Ridley to Spears more too. So yeah, I think those all need to be owned. There's a lot. I just mentioned a lot of guys. These aren't even some where it's like, if you need to pick this guy up, it's a handcuff. All of these guys could really be good ads. And I just listed off a ton. So yeah, be active on the running back waiver wire this week. Be active. As for the receivers, Alec Pierce, he's the priority coming off a bye. If he was dropped at all, he looked great the weeks prior to the bye. I think big days are there for him again. Christian Watson, 2 touchdowns. I talked about it when I recapped the Packers game. Looks like they're going to him and Dobbs a lot. So Watson needs to be owned. Trey Tucker looks like he's the guy there alongside Bowers. So I think he should be owned. Um, Michael Wilson. Yeah, own him. As long as Marv is out, they're monster days, and even without, he might still have standalone value. Parker Washington, if you want, I think we could have taken him out of the section, honestly. Kayshon Boutte, if he's back, Matt Collins, maybe either of those guys, if you have a strong conviction about them, they could be owned. Tez Johnson, I think you should still hold on to or pick him up. Jaden Higgins, I think you could pick up as well. Looks like he's carving out himself a role as a true number two behind Nico Collins. But yeah, the priority is definitely Pierce. I'd probably say Christian Watson too. And if Trey Tucker and Michael Wilson are there as well. For quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence, he's been doing okay. I think you could still pick him up as a streamer. Mariota's looked great. Probably pick him up. Brissett. Now that's five straight. Excuse me. That's 5 straight weeks as a QB1 overall top 12 quarterback. So I think he needs to be owned everywhere, if I'm being honest with you. Flacco, I think you could still own him. I'd be a little hesitant this week. It's a rough week. And Burrow is coming back sooner than later, but no Jamar Chase. But I still think Flacco's good. The volume's there. Bryce Young, you could definitely pick him up after last week. They get a good matchup this week against the Niners on Monday Night Football. So that's another good option. Priorities definitely Brissett and Mariota for me. Lawrence more as a streamer. As for the tight ends, Dalton Schultz. Yeah, he's been great with Davis Mills. He's been getting a lot of volume. I think Loveland is still ownable. You could pick him up. I think Theo Johnson, better days are ahead. Dart will be back. Otten, better days are ahead. This was we mentioned it. I know it was Vinny's start of the week. I said Buffalo's the number one defense against tight ends, and he fell flat. So yeah, I think better days are ahead for Otten. Juwan Johnson's been great. If somebody dropped him because of the bye week, you should pick him up. And AJ Barner, 10 targets. That's elite for a tight end. Or sorry, I think it was 10 catches, 11 targets. So Yeah, I think Barner's just a name to keep an eye on. If you're really, really desperate for tight end or in a deeper league, Barner's a name to get. Drop candidates. Dobbins, done for the year. Ridley, done for the year. Fields, he lost his job. I'm dropping Bill Krosky. I wanted to give him one more week, and this was a soft matchup against the Dolphins, and he not only didn't look good, but he got out carried, and it's no longer his backfield. So the Bill experiment's over. Keon Coleman, you can drop him after the disciplinary actions. You're fine to drop him. Also, the ball continuously can moves around to different guys. It's never going to one guy. Jonnu Smith. Good matchup, didn't turn to anything. I think you can drop him. Hunter Henry, if you need something else, you could drop Hunter Henry. I also understand wanting to hold him, especially if a lot of people do two tight ends on their rosters in your league. TJ Hawkinson, same idea, but he's been so bad. And JJ McCarthy's not good either, so you can drop him. And Cooper Kupp, yeah, I think you could drop Cooper Kupp. I wouldn't drop Rashid Shaheed. I think he's new to the offense and they definitely like him. But yeah, I think Cup you could probably drop. But all right, there is our waiver section. Prioritize running backs. Let's get into trade targets. So trades and start sits this week. It'll just be me. It'll just be me. As for trade targets, I'm doing a very specific. We're talking playoffs. This is the last time we're going to do this section. So the trade deadline in most leagues is after this week. So we're looking for guys who have a good playoff schedule. And then my sells are guys who have bad playoff schedules. Okay. So that is what I am looking for. That is what I am targeting with these guys. So for a quarterback, I am buying Daniel Jones. He's got some great matchups. The next two are hard. He's got the Chiefs and the Texans, two brutal matchups. But after that, he gets some very good matchups going through the fantasy playoffs, and they're tougher opponents too, and they may have to throw, meaning Jones will get some volume as well. I like Daniel Jones. I can see him as a league winner this year. There's obviously the superstars, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons. If you don't have those guys, see if you can go get Daniel Jones. So that is my buy at quarterback. Running back, Saquon Barkley. They have a great schedule for the playoffs. Some very, very good matchups. If I am to go pull it up, give me 1 second. Saquon gets it's even good from here out. They get Dallas this week, Chicago the week after, the Chargers in week 14. And then the fantasy playoffs, week 15 through 17, you get Vegas. Okay. Then you get Washington and Buffalo. Three beautiful, beautiful matchups. And he has not been particularly good as of late. He had that 36-point game in week 8. They had a week 9 bye, but 8 points, 5 points, week 6 and 7. Bye week, 13 points, 10 points. Like better days are ahead. The schedule is real nice. I don't think you're getting anything cheaper, and this is the time to buy. As for the running or the wide receivers, I'm going to the same team. It's AJ Brown for me. Some good schedules. They get Dallas this week too. You will not be able to get him after this week. I promise you that. Get AJ Brown, please. He had 11 targets this week, season high. It's that squeaky wheel. He said he wants more. He wants more involvement. He had a season high on targets, season high on receptions. I expect good things for AJ Brown moving forward. The fantasy playoffs, Vegas and Washington are great matchups. Buffalo, not the best, but hey, they're probably going to have to throw the ball because Buffalo will be scoring. So I like AJ Brown a lot going into the fantasy playoffs. At the tight end position, my tight end buy is Sam Laporta. Yes, he hit IR. He was out this past week. He will miss the next three at least, which would put him in line to come back for the fantasy playoffs. Hopefully he does. With that in mind, he gets the Rams, which are a good matchup, the Steelers, which are a great matchup, and the Vikings, which are also a good matchup. Those three games are great matchups, and you could probably get Laporta for nothing. He may even be dropped if somebody needs a roster spot. If you were going to make the playoffs, I would consider going to get him. And you could probably do some sort of package deal. Maybe a guy who has him is trying to make the playoffs still. He can't afford to hold Laporta. You can go get the guy you need for later on in the season. I think Laporta is a great buy, a really, really good buy. So yeah, those four. And I didn't mention Daniel Jones' schedule. But Daniel Jones gets So week 14, he gets Jacksonville. Then weeks 15 through 17, the playoffs, Seattle. Seattle's not the best matchup, but they're going to have to throw to keep up with Seattle. San Fran, again, great matchup. Jacksonville, again, great matchup. So I like those a lot. I could see him as a league winner. So those are four potential league winners for me. As for sells, my quarterback, Patrick Mahomes is my sell. They're brutal matchups moving forward. He gets Dallas in week 13. I get that. But in the playoffs specifically, and week 14, it's Houston. So if you're like, this is a do or die game, you get Houston. That's a horrible matchup. Then you get the Chargers, brutal. Tennessee, okay, that's solid. I don't think they're going to have to throw a ton though. And then Denver, who he just had 13 against this week, which is another brutal matchup in the fantasy championship. If you can somehow get rid of Mahomes and find a guy who you like more, has a better schedule, I think I'd be all over that. And Mahomes has had a great year, and it is Mahomes, but it's a brutal schedule down the stretch. My sell at running back is DeAndre Swift. So they get a rough matchup with Pittsburgh this week. Philly is okay. Green Bay's okay. The fantasy playoffs, Cleveland, Green Bay, brutal matchup. San Fran's a pretty good matchup in the championship, but week 14, even right before the fantasy playoffs, is Green Bay. So Green Bay, Cleveland, Green Bay, I don't like it. And Monangai is getting carries too. I'm seeing if I can sell Swift. As for the wide receiver, I know we're talking about the volume with Brissett and everything, but I'm seeing if I can sell Marvin Harrison. Yes, he has a good stretch up until the fantasy playoffs, but when the fantasy playoffs hit, Houston, very, very difficult matchup. I don't expect him getting anything done that game. Atlanta, so far that's been a very difficult matchup. I know Tet did amazing against them this week, but that has been a very difficult matchup for teams so far. And then Cincinnati, who's been okay for receivers. So yeah, I think I'm looking to get rid of Marvin Harrison if I can. And then for the tight end position, my sell is Dalton Schultz, right? He hasn't looked as good with CJ Stroud as he has with Davis Mills. That's one thing. Two, he gets Kansas City in week 14, which is right before those fantasy playoffs. Then Arizona, okay, decent matchup. But Vegas and the Chargers have been really, really brutal against tight ends. So I'm seeing if I can get off of him now for something. So yeah, very, very playoff focused for these buys and sells this week. But I think there are some league winners there, and there are some guys you could maybe sell and capitalize off of right now. See if you could get something else there. So, with that being said, let's get into the weekly stardom situms. Hopefully, you enjoyed that last trade targets of the season. I know I love them myself, but yeah, we'll do stardom situms. This will be back, of course, next week as well. But last week I went 1 for 8. Vinny went about 2 for 8. Rough week. Yeah, let's chalk that up and we'll move forward. It was a low scoring week. It was a weird week in general. But yeah, my start of the week this week at the quarterback position is Jared Goff versus the Giants. They are at home, meaning they are in a dome. I expect a much better game for Goff in a good matchup, a positive matchup against the Giants. Even Jordan Love, who feels like he's very matchup dependent, had 17 against them this week. So I'm expecting a bounce back for Goff this week. Yeah. Love the dome. I'm going Goff. Running back. Going Travion. I don't care if Ramondre is back. They get the Cincinnati Bengals, who have been really bad, like possibly the worst defense against the running back position. So I'm firing Travion up again. I don't care if Ramondre's back. I'm firing him up. I think he's still going to get enough work to have at least an explosive play there. So love it. Love Travion. Love seeing him get that work for the Patriots. So yeah, that is definitely where I'm going. My wide receiver start of the week is Michael Wilson versus the Jags. It's a good matchup. I know the Chargers just got blanked, but the volume, I'm going off volume too. I mean, 18 targets, you can't go away from that. Like that's unbelievable. 15 catches, 185 yards. I'm taking the volume with Brissett all day. I think it's looking great. I think if you're in a pinch, I think you should fire this guy up. Looking at the guy I'm playing next week in one of my leagues, I think I have to go against him, and I'm not looking forward to that. It's quite scary seeing him in the flex, regardless of how many points he's projected. Tight end, I'm going Pitts versus the Saints. It's an okay matchup. I'm thinking volume specifically, no Drake London. So I think Pitts is going to be there based on volume, and that's why I'm going Kyle Pitts this week. It's a volume play. It's a matchup that might be a little softer as well. So I'm taking Kyle Pitts. I think he's going to be a fine start this week. Yeah, two sketchy starts there for the wide receiver and tight end, but I think the volume can be there for the both of them. As for my sits, I'm sitting Daniel Jones versus the Chiefs, right? It's the Chiefs this week. It's brutal. Yeah, Bo had 12 points against them. I think if you have another option, I'd go another option. There's just other guys out there that might be a better option for you. Um, so yeah, if you got to, I think you can start Daniel Jones, but it's not the nicest matchup of all time. Running back, I'm sitting Kareem Hunt. It's against Indy, and that's a tough matchup as well. So I don't love that. I'm sitting Kareem Hunt if I can. I think Pacheco could be back too. So that just adds a layer to it as well. As the receiver position, I'm sitting Juwan Jennings versus the Panthers. Panthers have been actually pretty good against receivers so far this season, anyways. But also, I think Pearsall is going to get an uptick. Purdy being back, he likes Kittle way more, anyways. So I think I'm looking at other options if I have Jennings, with Pearsall being back, especially. And then at the tight end position, he's been amazing. Juwan Johnson, though, he gets Atlanta. Atlanta has been brutal against tight ends. So I'm seeing if there's other options out there. I think I would go Pitts in the same game over him potentially, if need be. So those are the starts and sits for the week. That'll do it, honestly. Little under an hour, pretty short episode. A lot of waivers we talked about today. We did the trade targets, the playoff special. So take a look at that. Yeah, be active with the running backs. Be active with the running backs. There should be an active waiver wire this week in your league. So be on the lookout for that. We will be back next week. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, we'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.